and I fucking love Paris. Yeah, I've been multiple times, and it is just a great city. Like it's a great museums, people are all nice, food's always good. And then went into Switzerland, and then went into Germany. Food in Switzerland, Germany. I'm not much on Germany.
This conference will now be recorded.
I mean, after going into Spain, Portugal, and that part of the world, it just no, I don't like it. There's only so many goddamn pretzels I'm gonna eat. I mean, it's just what it is. You have problems with? And it's roofs. Oh. Y'all good down there? Y'all fellas good?
Kim ready?
Like to call the Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, we all knew what that sound was.
I've done it.
All right, thank you. We do have a quorum. We do need to adopt an agenda. Anything to add to the agenda, Mr. Weekly?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody from up here? No, sir. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. As always, public comment. Public comment. Yes, yes, sir.
Rats. I'd like to speak to you about something that I drive through every now and then. It's getting more and more complicated. The intersection at 29, 231, 230 up by the Exxon station. We all know what I'm talking about. That intersection has gotten busier, and since they did away with the one entrance off of 29 into the gas station, most people going to the station now have to turn down 230, 231 to get in there, and depending on when the traffic flow is, it's kind of a little tough situation there. Then you throw the holiday traffic we just had in with the number of cars and so forth and so on going through there. It gets even more complicated because of the people that go to the Vines campground and got those campers behind them and have to make a U-turn there to get back to the Vines. Then you got the traffic of people trying to get across the road. There's a great deal of tractor trailers and trucks, towing trailers that go through that intersection. A lot of them do now go down, turn at the Pratt's and go and come up there at Gibbs Road to get on 29 for going south, but you still got a lot of truck traffic that goes to the intersection. That intersection, to me, needs to be looked at for some way, shape, and form because you got a lot of things going on there all at once. It used to not be. The VDOT trucks are in and out, that's understandable. But a lot of people, when they come off of 29, as they go in towards Pratt's, they haven't slowed up much either. The folks that live there in that section, when we were at the discussion about the roundabout at Pratt's, were talking about the speed problem there and issues like that. Just sort of how it is. But anyway, if y'all could have whoever take a look at that intersection, because I think you got a real safety issue there. And even the traffic circle at Pratt's won't help what's going on up there because, let's be honest, traffic in 29 is more than it was 10 years ago. The success of the Vines, you got a whole nother set of issues there. You throw in the normal traffic, then you got the folks from Yoder's, and it's really tough when folks are trying to turn coming south to get across that intersection, or if they want to, coming south and turn and go down 230, 231. And if they're coming all the way across the road off 231 and want to go south, it depends on the day. Some days it's fine, but a lot of days there's a lot of congestion and issues there. And I'd just like for y'all to take a look at it if you could. I appreciate your time and thank you.
Thank you, Ross. You're at the right meeting. Other public comments? Is anybody watching us?
Henry from Rappahannock is online.
Good, glad to have him. All right, let's move on. Constitutional officers, county departments, committees, and organizations. Jerry, why don't you start? Yeah, it's around here.
So Hoover Ridge, it's really busy now. We're still doing the finishing up on the phase of the project, the outdoor recreation center. Mr. Walls is doing the sewer line right now. Still working on that. This weekend we have the Pooch Pursuit, September 13th at 9 a.m. Halloween Fest will be October 19th with movies in the park. We'll call it with the Mummies movie. I'm sure Clay will love to go see that.
Sounds good.
Haunted Woods, we're looking for volunteers, October 25th at 7 p.m. Any help will be greatly appreciated. Fall sports are now going on now, and winter sports registration starts October 1st. Anybody have any questions?
What's a Pooch Pursuit? You just run around with your dog?
Yep.
Yep, there you go.
You can't ride your Jeep. You have to like actually walk.
It's better. Different. Anybody have any questions for Jerry? Jerry,
right.
Thank you. Ms. Warren?
Good afternoon. Just a
ma'am.
couple quick things, just letting you know that the FY24 CAP audit, which is our cost allocation plan audit, is almost finalized. That's always a year behind. We're continuing to close FY25, still processing invoices and processing end-of-year journal entries, and we will have auditors coming in early November to start that audit process for FY25 close. And then the last thing was just letting you know that the closing on the debt financing is scheduled and on target for this Friday. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
What day is that? 12.
Signed all the forms just a little bit ago.
Yes.
Anybody else have questions, Ms. Warren? Are we still using Mary Earhart for pre-audit stuff, Ms. Warren?
We have the new company that purchased her company, her audit firm, yes. I think it's Rodner Moss. I can't remember the exact name, but yes, we are.
All right. Would they be coming in late October, or is it, I'm just trying to understand the time.
Yes, absolutely. We've scheduled it so that it's back-to-back with, and I actually talked to David Foley the other day about this. They'll be coming in, I want to say it's the first part of November, and then David's the week after. So we're definitely on target. David and I spoke about this to meet our December deadline for the audit. The audit's due, I think it's December 15th.
Okay.
So we have an on-target year this year.
Very good. Anybody else? Thank you, Ms. Warren.
Thank you.
Tilly,
Hello.
people
Hi.
getting along, everything going well?
My employees are great.
That's good.
Open enrollment for health insurance ended on August the 15th. So any of those changes will take place this month in the paychecks for employees. And we are still in open enrollment for AFLAC and the flex spending account. And I want to thank you guys for approving the New York whole life insurance. We signed the papers last Thursday, and the open enrollment for that will start November 1st. And that's all I have.
People expressed interest in that at this point?
I haven't sent it out to the employees, but a few have. I just mentioned they have. So I have Tyler Adams. He is our rep for that. He's coming to our department head meeting next week to talk to the department heads to get all the information out. So, yeah.
Do we have questions for Tilly? Tilly, thank you. Sheriff.
Thank you, Alan. Good afternoon. I think you already have a copy of our submitted report. Let's see, we have one deputy in the academy at this time. She's on week 6 or 7, moving forward. I caught Miss Shepherd on the way in. I think she has some information on our speed camera permits we've applied for. Thanks to Tracy, we had no issues at the street festival this year. Thank you, Tracy. Trick or Trunk this year is going to be on Thursday night, the 30th. So if you're you plan on having something, a trunk, give us a call by October the 10th. And any questions from the board?
What, applying for the permits for the speed cameras in the school zones, any idea of when stuff will start? Okay. All right. How long does that take, Carrie? All right, excellent. Good. Any other questions for the sheriff? You said that the training she's on week 6 or 7.
Yes.
Of how many?
20 weeks.
There you go. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Greg?
Good evening. Calls for service is steady. You have the report there. We had 78 handled in person, 94 handled by phone, and 16 emergency calls. Justice Clearinghouse did have a active listening basic de-escalation training that we took. And what you see there below is September 28th is World Rabies Day. And with the recent calls that we had, felt it was appropriate that the county host some sort of seminar to raise awareness about what you ever, to do if you ever encounter an animal with rabies. Last week, Gavin and I met with the health department to discuss setting up a rabies awareness training, and also reached out to other departments, trying to gather up materials and data. Reached out to DWR, Department of Wildlife Resources, VDAX, Virginia Department of Agricultural Consumer Services, and AHA, which is the American Animal Hospital Association. Still working on details on that. We're thinking September 29th here in the auditorium at 5 p.m. Once we confirm a date and time, we'll post it on the county website and Facebook page. And I can say I present this to the group, and everyone was on board and very excited about it due to all the recent calls and everything that we've been encountering. So,
Been getting a lot of rabies calls?
yes. Yep. Other than that, that's all I have.
So Greg, is it suspected rabies or it really is?
So-
We don't know yet.
Yes, one gentleman was approached by a raccoon, and
Yeah.
while he was laying on the ground working on his vehicle, and it started biting him all over the arm. So he's going through a series of his shots now. Can't really set a trap because you don't know if you catch the right one or not.
Right.
And then there was a bat in someone's house flying around. A lot of people don't know that when a bat lands on you and they actually bite you, you can't feel it. So actually we were able to catch that, send it off, had it tested, and that came back negative, thank goodness. So we're just better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And the one guy was, we're sorry he got bit. They were feeding the raccoons as well, or no?
Correct.
So, I mean, that's something that you
Yeah.
should not do.
They should be doing that, and, he's been doing this for years, and we had to try to educate him and say, when you're feeding wildlife, not only are you attracting the healthy ones, you're attracting the sick ones, so he learned the hard way. So he's going through the series of the shots now on that.
So one other thing I don't think I know, Greg, is there a season for rabies more than any other season? I don't think
No,
there is.
I mean, we
think I've
we
ever
get it
asked that
throughout
question.
the year. I mean, that's why we're trying to collect data from VDAX and the health department, but I
Yeah.
mean, we just get it throughout the year anytime,
All right.
so.
You don't have any?
No bats in the winter.
Is that right? Yeah, all right. No comment on Mrs. Warren's cat audit? Yeah, she said cat audit. All right, that's it. All right, go to.
Be Annette.
Thank you, Greg. Go to Annette.
How are you?
Well,
So we've had a couple busy months. July the 26th, we had a PetSmart adoption event in Culpeper. August the 30th, the shelter attended the Taste of the Mountains where we had 2 adoptions. September the 7th, Decades Arcade held their annual pinball tournament that benefits the animal shelter. On September the 13th, we were invited to attend and be involved in the Pooch Pursuit. I appreciate that. It gets the shelter out into the community. I am hoping that we will have some dogs there to participate. I would like to thank Mooney, Kurt, and Parks and Rec for coming out to the shelter today. They mowed, they weed-eated it, they took the trees down at the entrance there that had become a safety hazard. Tomorrow is installation for the kennel lights, which I'm excited about. We did have a small incident this evening at the animal shelter. Thanks everybody who was there promptly, took care of that. Friday, Saturday, and Monday alone, we had 11 adoptions at the shelter. So this is July's numbers, since I wasn't able to attend. We had 25 strays, 13 owner surrenders, 2 cats and 1 dog for safekeeping. They have all went to rescue. 14 reclaims, 29 adoptions, and 10 transferred to rescue. Our August numbers were 18 strays, 31 owner surrenders, 10 reclaims, 30 adoptions, and 19 transferred to rescue. At the moment, in-house, we have 3 dogs, 2 goats, and 2 cats.
It's pretty good.
That's a lot.
Thank you, Tilly.
We've had some incredible adoptions in the last couple
It
months.
seems like a very high amount of surrenders. I assume you probably had one person that surrendered a bunch, or is that not correct?
So I did have one family, they will be on next month's numbers, that surrendered 7 9-week-old puppies. They have all been adopted. This one family, this is probably the 30th or 40th animal that one family has surrendered or that has been seized. So it's usually the same people over and over and over, yes.
Okay. Adopting them out is fast. I mean, and we all see your post. I mean, it's great. I mean, absolutely great.
Yeah. You do a good job.
No, I did. It
Yeah.
really speaks well of your department.
All right, thank you.
Anybody have questions for Annette? Annette, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Alan, I guess. No, Alan, Barry, I haven't gotten to you yet about you sitting next to Ross. Go ahead, Alan.
Afternoon, everybody. So, update on our projects that we've been doing. Unitrends disaster recovery has been completed, so I'm fairly confident our backups are where they need to be. We hope we never have to use them, but they're there. Tyler Munis, it's always fun every single day. We did discover during the implementation process for resident access, which would allow members of the public to pay their bills online. During the initial implementation of Tyler, the parcel ID data was done in a less conventional format with leading spaces and 7 spaces in between the actual parcel ID numbers, but we are working to rectify that as soon as possible so we can go live with resident access. Firefly at EMS and Animal Shelter are both installed, and well, Animal Shelter is not online currently for obvious reasons, but EMS is up. I am researching the WGAC compliance with Ms. Turner so that we maintain compliance with the ADA on our county website. We have the T-Mobile switchover from Verizon in progress for all of our cellular phones. I will be doing staging for that this week and installing mobile device management. And here's the big one, we're going through a make-right process with Dell and Eastern, who we purchased our servers from. What we ordered was not what we got. So basically, the chassis was correct for the servers. The interiors of them, not so much. We have gotten hard drives shipped to us. They did not come with the caddies to actually install them into the server. So it has been a painful process getting that make-right done, but we are slowly working our way towards 100% online for that.
What's your timeline on that?
What we were told from Eastern was that the new processors would be here in November. Obviously, that's not kosher, so we are trying to rush them as soon as we can. I'm hoping mid-October, but it's a painful process, I'm just gonna say that. Any questions?
The only other one, when do you see, for Tyler Munis, when do you see resident access being available?
Jennifer and I worked on this a little bit last week. I have opened a Tyler ticket and communicated with one of their technicians. As I have been told by both our rep and the technician, we need to engage the Tyler implementation team because the parcel ID essentially serves as a reference for all parcels. It's the only thing that you cannot mass change in Tyler. So everything else, like addresses and all that, can be mass changed. Parcel ID doesn't work that way. So essentially, Tyler wants us to give them money to be able to fix the problem that we started with.
Good. All right, keep working on that.
Yep.
Anybody else have questions, Mr. Barry? Alan, thank you. Tracy?
Thank you. I have not gotten my thank you done for Taste of the Mountains yet, but there is a compilation video being done by MAP Drones, and I'm going to do it along with that. But since the sheriff is here, I'm going to give a vendor response. They said to please pass on a sincere thank you to everyone involved in the festival. Everyone helping was so kind and helpful throughout the event. We ended up with being invited to 3 upcoming shows in the area and 1 in Richmond for next year from organizers who attended the event. Additionally, this was our best single-day event of the year. We were blown away with the positive response our prints got from the community. It was a great day. Thank you for letting us be a part of it. So that being said, I wanted to thank the sheriff, Mooney, Kurt, Mountain View Chapel, because they did the trash, and it was seamless. It was one of the best attended festivals. I think one of the best ones we've had. Definitely the best weather, so that helped a lot. I think that helped everything. So went really well. And then I had some things left over from last month since I couldn't speak at the last meeting, a little sick that day. We had our State Economic Development Office changing the system that we put sites available and things on, so I had that training, starting on that, putting a new one in tomorrow. Had a meeting with the Nelson counterpart and the wine consultant to discuss ways to get our wines into DC events. They've done like a little trial thing, and that's worked out really well. And then as reported, I guess this would have been July, Early Mountains President John Rule was featured in the work page or on the work page of livingcentralva.org with Channel 29 and CVPED partnership, and also has a commercial out. So I put the YouTube link there. Next week, I'll be attending our next to last session for the Tourism Leadership Institute in Richmond. And working on, I had 3 leads, I have 4 leads now. Emmylou's is going back to online, and I have a lead for that space. The Wild relocated to next to Geno's. There's already something that's going in that I can't announce yet where they were located, next to Matasha Styles. And and another thing, October wine is wine month, so we may bring out, that's why I figured out to have a representative from the wineries to come in October, and we'll celebrate them. For instance, it's Scott Ellis' 25th harvest this year, so that was pretty significant. So I'm going to see if he can come. And then things that happened since I did my report. The candidate forum is on the 22nd, I believe. And then, yes, the Blue Ridge Outdoors. So that went out the beginning of August. So, Jerry, if you didn't know, the back page, we had the whole back cover. So we did get in the Street Survivors on there, too. And Judd's picture at the top. And Taste of the Mountains. And we got the bigger events on there. So I think that may have helped a little bit as well this year. And then just came out yesterday, our spending went up 9.3% to $25 million for 2024. Some counties were down, so I was very happy about that information. And so it was like 22, so now it's 25 million. An additional 12 million when you consider the indirect tourism and induced tourism. So if you need the actual definitions for that, direct impact, and I do need my glasses. Direct is impacts businesses, sales, jobs, income, and taxes related to businesses where visitors spend their dollars. So recreation, lodging. Indirect impact is created from the purchase of goods and services as inputs, such as food wholesalers, utilities, business services, into production by the directly affected sectors. Induced impact is impacts created from spending in the local economy, so the employees of those places turning around and spending their money back into the local economy. That's induced impact. So we have an additional 12 million when you look at it that way. And what other thing?
just a little side note, in the Smithsonian Magazine, oh, this was an earlier one too, it was a winter edition. And I've heard, it sounded vaguely familiar to me, but Daniel Bachman, does anybody know? So he's apparently worldwide famous, and he goes and makes all these sounds using the sounds of insects chattering and buzzing around him. He is worldwide known, so I'm gonna try to reach out to him. It's pretty cool. But he lives in Madison, but he travels all over, and they're kind of using him, especially maybe with the VA 250 as well, because he's historic. Everything he's doing is sort of historic in historic areas. So made a note of that.
All right.
And that is the gist of what I've got today.
How's visitation at the tourism building, other than the street festival? And congratulations.
Well, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes, we have a few people come in, but sometimes we only have like one, but they'll come in and they're looking for brochures and they're doing their wedding here. So it's a big deal. So the impact is bigger than what it looks like.
The only other one I got, and it's kind of a random one, does anybody know if Mary's been open down in Kriglersville over the summer?
She has not. She's not right now. She's too busy.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Good
asked
for
that
her.
too.
Good for her. Anybody else have anything for Tracy? All right, Ms. Nichols? And Mr. Nichols he attended a session on Senate Bill 974, so he's gonna give us some information on that as well.
All
Please.
right. Would you like me to start on the Senate bill?
Start on the regular stuff, and then we'll go to the Senate bill. if you
All
don't
right.
mind.
Well, Jamie is out of town today. He is in Williamsburg for the annual Virginia Building and Code Officials Conference.
Exciting.
So that's where he is. He was excited to go to that one.
Sad.
Additionally, we've got Stacy, who is going to go to permit technician class at the end of this month. And Carl is scheduled to take his commercial electrical inspector exam coming up, which is nice. A short summary is we have issued 102 permits in the month of August and performed 252 inspections. In the zoning department, we currently have 12 open notice of violations with resolution steps that are ongoing. 4 of them have been escalated to the county attorney for more serious resolution steps. We have a number of open special use permits that are coming through the Planning Commission. Things that you don't see, we currently have 9 open subdivision applications, and we have 4 active site plan applications ongoing. So we've got Maya Vita, which we got the Health Department approval letter today. I have a virtual meeting with Ahmed tomorrow to discuss getting the physical plans, and Joe needs the DEQ permit number for that one, and then he's ready to proceed. So that'll be exciting. Oak Grove Mennonite Church has, their site plan has stalled for some VDOT commentary. Madison Wood Preservers, their site plan is moving right along. We're getting regular commentary from the respective agencies on that one, so we're looking forward to seeing that move forward. And we're waiting for approvals on Hart as well. So those are our 4 open site plans. Board of Zoning Appeals has 2 cases scheduled for next Tuesday. That's the first time we've seen the BZA in a while. So the workshop involving the language on SB 974, most of the content of this meeting, and again, I was only able to listen. I wasn't able to engage or ask for clarifications on anything being discussed. And I clearly was coming in the middle of a previous conversation. Many of the items of discussion were procedural in nature in aligning some of their provisions and what VDOT requires to make the state code align that way to keep things moving. But the relevant portion for our discussion today is about 40 minutes into the meeting, Mr. Joe Lurch raised concerns that the population threshold for continuing to allow planning commissions and board of supervisors to be the approving authority for subdivisions and site plans was set at 5,000. So if you were less than 5,000, your planning commission could still serve and governing body approve. And so the question was asked, how did we come up with that number? And they all kind of looked at each other and said, we just picked a number. Nobody really gave it any thought. I think most municipalities and counties are operating essentially how the bill says now. They have a designated agent who's doing these things. And so Mr. Lurch pointed out that Madison and Floyd had concerns on the matter and asked if there was a way that they could raise the population threshold to, say, 20,000. Nobody in the work group seemed to have any objection other than the fact that we were cautioned that their scope of work in this was not to make any substantive changes to the bill, but rather clean up conflicts and, conflicting language and et cetera. And so there was some disagreement as to whether raising the threshold would constitute a substantial change or not. Some said it was. Mr. Lurch said that it was not. So I'm not entirely sure where this will go. The language was rather dismissive. The leader of the conversation, who was Andrew, and I have a note of his last name somewhere, Andrew Clark, here it is, said, I'll take a note, and they moved on. So I don't think it was taken very seriously, but that's where we ended up. Further discussion after that point simply revolved around just cleaning up simple language. So I don't anticipate that anyone is going to seriously move forward unless we push the issue.
All right.
That is all I have for you, unless you have questions for me.
But at least we were called out by name, us and Floyd County,
Yes, sir.
huh? Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Positive,
We gotta
at least.
try to get the nose under the tent, as they say, I guess.
It's down the, Judd,
Just
please.
a quick
Yeah,
question.
please.
Back to the subdivisions. So you said you have 9 open subdivisions?
That is correct.
Are these subdivisions townhomes or 20, 30, 40?
I think at the moment, most of them are single lot subdivisions. I may have one or two that they're making 2 lots or maybe a
Okay.
third. The last one I had that was any more than that was Mr. Al Esch divided a piece of land on Ridgeview Road that was zoned R1, and he made 5 or 6 lots. I think it was 5 plus the residual was 6, because that's what he could service on a private road off of Old Home Place that you're familiar with.
Okay, thank you.
You sticking around, Ellen, for our discussion, or are you out of here?
I'm happy to be here if you want me.
It doesn't matter. Do we need to keep Ellen for our discussion on legislative issues on this? Is there any questions on Senate Bill 974 that he can add perspective to or commentary? Please, yes, sir.
Alan, even if the threshold were raised to, say, 20,000 population for the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors to be the designated agent, they still doesn't give them any additional discretionary power to veto a site plan. If it complies with the ordinance, they still just have to basically routinely approve it. Is that correct?
In my opinion, the only advantage is that it gets things in the public eye, because it's really a statutory requirement. Does it meet the ordinance or not? So it's just a yes, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions or comments on this? Alan, thank you. Mr. Barry, would you pass it back to Gavin? Good. I assume you're gonna do Noah's report and then, yes, sir, in your own.
Good evening. I apologize for being late, outrunning a call. For EMS, we ran 170 calls, were toned out for last month. Average response time was 8 minutes, so that's definitely better than normal. As far as NUA numbers, we had the minimum NUA number or amount was 7 minutes, 46 seconds. The maximum was 1 hour, 34 minutes. Average, we had NUAs of 54 minutes when they occurred, with a total of 6 hours and 23 minutes without coverage on those times. We have added a new part-time paramedic, Gabrielle Bondurant. She is a part-time paramedic, and she's precepting now. Love to get her full-time at some point. Very squared away young lady. We do have 1 full-time vacancy at this time. And EMS standby events, I have here the National Night Out, the Back to School Carnival, and Madison Street Festival. The Street Festival went very well for us as well. We I think only had 2 EMS calls, 1 transport, so that, I think the weather helped us with that. And Dr. Byrne officially started with us on August 1st. So he's up and running as our EMS physician, formerly known as OMD. And we're happy to have him. So,
On your vacancy, do you have applicants at this point, or I assume you're advertising, but do you have applicants?
yes, Tilly sent me a couple this week. Well, maybe one Friday and then one this week, but we do have 2 applicants, which I plan on setting up interviews for. And we'll go from there. There's some other folks that are out there too that we're in conversation with. But that is the only vacancy, and, you know, we're firing on all cylinders, so it's going the right way on that.
Anybody on EMS?
Yeah, I got a quick one. Something else I don't think I know. Okay, so Gavin, like in the evening, we got 2 crews, we got 2 trucks on a typical evening, right?
Mhm. Yes, minimum.
Right, minimum.
Yeah, so
you
minimum
can-
staffing is 2 trucks and 1 supervisor. If all of the crew is there, nobody's sick or on vacation, then we would staff a 3rd truck at that point.
So if you got a football game going on in the evening, you're gonna
Right.
have a 3rd one at the football game and 2 ready to respond to calls? Is that what?
Yeah, so works a couple different ways. I'll start with today, because we have a Woodbury Forest standby. That's what's known as a non-dedicated truck. So if we have a truck available, we'll set it over on that side of the county. If we need it, then it will leave. When it comes to our county, when it comes to Madison County football games, those are dedicated events. If I have 3 trucks staffed, then I'll use one of those. If I don't, then we have to call in people or hold people to cover those games. But we're always going to be there with a truck. If
Got
that
it.
makes sense.
All right.
Y'all did have one. You called for, and it's rare. I heard it. Y'all did call for mutual aid one night, and Ruckersville responded. Is that right? Or Greene County responded?
I believe Greene County came in. Yeah, I don't know the details of that one.
It was
It's
a
very
lot
rare
of-
we do.
It was a lot of calls that just kind of piled up, and I mean, it was an
Yeah.
anomaly, truly. But
It's the
It's
same
interesting.
story every time, where one goes off, it's almost guaranteed
Oh.
within 10 minutes, the second one drops, and if that does, and we have a 3rd truck, it's going to do it then too.
It's
So-
just incredible.
And that will sit there all day.
All right, emergency management.
Don't have anything to report right now. Everything's in good shape. We've got a few things that are going to be coming up in November with the Sheriff's Department that we're working on, still working out the details on that for some training. And then just looking for grants and the regular routine.
Generator at the school, all installed, all done.
All installed, all done, and I've actually scheduled a meeting to meet with VDM to finalize everything on that. So,
Excellent, excellent. Anything else for Gavin? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And just for transparency purposes, I had a backhoe catch a power line and then the Firefly line, or the fiber line at the animal shelter this evening. They're working to remedy that pretty promptly. Just pretty insignificant, but that is what has been referenced a couple times this evening. It'll be fixed.
And that it has been restored.
Yeah, even better. So, just so everybody knows. All right, I think we've hit everybody. Let's go consent agenda. We've got minutes from 8:26 and 9:03, and then we have a supplemental appropriation number 7, which is the true up of the juvenile detention center for 143,642. Anybody have questions, comments, thoughts, a motion on the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ms. Shepherd, welcome. Quarterly presentation. Then we do, probably need to talk about that 230 and 29 intersection. Probably do.
Good afternoon.
Please.
Chairman, members of the board. So I'll jump to rural rustics first. So Walker's Mill Lane, we're getting ready to start construction on that. We have about 14 pipes to replace. So I don't know that we'll be able to pave it this year, but if not, then it'll be springtime of next year. For Pratt's Roundabout, we did just have the public hearing. The next milestone will be design approval. The estimated construction start is summer of 2028 with construction completing in 2029. And on the next slide, I have a diagram of the roundabout,
Yep.
just for everybody's awareness. And then also, there's going to be some proposed detours. We're going to work through those so that they're not affecting bus traffic. And those are on the next page. So a detour around Gibbs to 29, and then the one on the right is the detour for Fairgrounds. And then on the next slide, the last detour is a full detour of the intersection. That will not happen very frequently. And again, we'll make sure that we're timing that with the bus schedules. Any questions on the detours? I threw them up there just.
How'd y'all feel the public hearing went?
It went very well. There were about 32 people that were there, and there was support for the project. Yeah, it went well.
Good. Anybody have questions on any of this?
Just real quick, and forgive me if you mentioned this, Carrie, those are your detour options, but I was at the town hall or the public meeting. Those options come with the caveat that construction would not occur during school calendar year?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, please.
And then just finally to wrap everything up, so we have a couple ongoing projects, 707 Pine Hill, which I've reported about that for a while here. It's coming up for completion December. And then this is correct, these dates are correct now, for the Courtney Hollow Lane over Polecat Branch superstructure replacement. It is expected to begin mid-October, approximately 4-week duration, and there will be 4 overnight closures, and our construction team is talking to the citizens out there to make arrangements prior if there's any emergency needs. And then one other item that I don't have on my slide, I forgot to add, is Weaver Hollow. Weaver Hollow, we had to do some hydraulic analysis. Based on some costs that came back, we had to make a decision on which pipe size to replace it with, so we've made that decision. We were working with the property owners to get some drainage easements, but right now we're at a point where we're ready to order the pipes. They'll take about 3 weeks to be fabricated, and then we can get that project going, probably I'd say mid-October as well.
Is that the one, Jonathan? Yeah, that's right.
It was the low volume bridge you all made comment about before VDOT would proceed. Is the Courtney Hollow Lane Bridge, I believe, the one you're referring to. That had an ADT of like 40 or less, I
Yeah,
believe.
that was very low ADT, yeah.
What's the one that was?
Weaver Hollow.
Weaver Hollow, so
That's not on your report.
I accidentally left it off.
Okay.
Right, yeah,
All right.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Both neighbors have signed off on it?
yes.
Okay, great.
All right.
Any questions?
So that road is impassable right now? Oh, yeah. Right through there?
Which-
Like a low water.
Which, they're talking Weaver Hollow? All
Weaver
right,
Hollow.
we went from Courtney Hollow, so I want to make sure. Yes, and it'd be good to ask me to shepherd that. I know her and her office has given some update. I think as of this morning, you only have access from the Hoover Road side of Duet. I do have concerns. I've issued that concern because we had washout on both ends. I think it was the May storm up above George Weaver's house that had to be restored. So it's not a box culvert y'all looking at, or is that the preferred?
No, it's gonna be a double line of elliptical pipes,
Okay.
so that we can get more cover on the pipes, and hopefully, we're gonna have concrete wing walls, and head walls, so hopefully it won't wash out again, that's our goal.
And that's the reason it washed out, because we didn't have the concrete walls?
Yeah, there were some old, well, we had a washout in May, and then we replaced it, and then literally
Yeah.
2 days later, it washed right back out. But yeah, this should be more substantial, so we're hoping that this does the trick.
What happens with all the pipes that are down in that farmer's field, Matt's field down there?
I'm not sure, we might need to just clean them up, pick them up, I'm not
Okay.
sure.
It's gonna be wider than the one on the Hebron Valley Road, right? It has a little creek, very narrow.
I believe so.
I hope so. All right.
They're very large pipes.
Good. Other questions on any of this before we start?
Yeah,
Please.
I just got one. So, Ms. Shepherd, on Whippoorwill Road, I mean, your status says complete, and it said complete last time too. But in fact, there's about 1 3/10 miles of Whippoorwill towards the north end that's still gravel. But does your status of complete means that was all that was going to be done? That was all that was planned to be done?
Yes, that's correct, as the rural rustic project for the paving, yes.
I don't remember. Why would we have cut off 1.3 miles of that?
I
you
believe,
remember?
I can go back and look in our records, but I believe it's because of the characteristics of the road. I think there's some curves and it's narrow.
Yes,
so it
it's
wasn't
very
good.
narrow, yes.
We didn't recommend it for paving. paving
I see,
section.
okay. Now I got an answer for the porch.
Jonathan, I know we talked about this a while back, but you brought up Hebron Valley drain, or the pipe that went in, the low pipe going across, there's a small creek. But that was really, really narrow and sounded like a curve. So like two trucks would have a hard time passing without hitting their mirrors, you know, if they're pickup trucks with trailer mirrors or whatever. Is that code? Is that legal right there? Because as you're coming towards Hebron Valley Road from Hebron Church, you're coming around that corner and there's a big steel kind of angle bar right there, which if you got too far right because you're trying to fit through, it'd be pretty dangerous.
I'm not gonna say that it's to standard. On a lot of these rural roads with low EDT, we just kind of have to go back with the best that we can, with maintenance replacements especially. It might have also had something to do with environmental considerations when we replaced the drainage structure. We do have limits on what we can do for environmental permitting, or it could have been cost. I can look into that if you want.
If you would, because on one way, there's actually like a little caution metal sign, but coming the other way, there's nothing.
Okay,
So, I mean, I would just look into that and see if there's anything we can do.
okay.
Thanks.
Two vehicles cannot pass. I come through there with big trucks regularly, and especially with the lambs having the corn there now, which is well within their rights in every way, and glad they're using the valley like it should be. But I mean, it's treacherous coming through there, and I mean, we slow down really, really hard, because I mean, you just don't want to catch somebody and you're gonna push them right off the road like it's without any hesitation, and it'd be a problem. But that one is super narrow, and two vehicles certainly cannot pass.
Okay, and so maybe it's some more signage to warn people.
That would be super helpful.
Okay.
All right, anybody else have anything? All right, let's talk about 29 and 230. Are there options out there that are not J-cuts or traffic lights that we should be thinking about?
We can talk about this with our district planner to see if there's any innovative intersections we could consider. We did look at our cuts at this
Excuse me.
location.
Yes, ma'am.
And it quickly, the scope grew because we were looking at the Yoder's crossover, and then we had to go up another crossover. So it was essentially like 3 arc cuts in a row, which made it infeasible for the residency to handle. So it would have to be a smart scale type project. But that's a conversation that we can have with our planner to see what options to consider.
I mean, Cardi would go down the path like we talked about previously with the roundabout and realigning traffic potentially over to Gibbs Road. That has kind of gone away, no big deal. But the 29-230 intersection is something that we are all very aware of. I think Ross has pointed out accurately in every way about coming into Exxon, and then with the VDOT being there, which we appreciate in every way. But that intersection is becoming more and more of a problem, and putting in another stoplight, I don't think anybody really wants. And the R cuts, excuse me, they're very popular with people, especially on the initial phases. Not at all. Anything that we could, if there were some options out there, I mean, that would be helpful for everybody, I think.
Okay, yep, we can.
Yeah, I think just to be clear, in case everybody doesn't understand, I've been caught in it a number of times. I'm coming from the south, and I want to go to the Exxon station. So you take a right, and then you got to take a quick left to get into the Exxon station. Meanwhile, you've got 3 or 4 cars behind you also trying to get off of 29, and I'm holding them up because there's traffic coming from Orange, and I got to wait to turn into the Exxon station. So, yeah, it quickly becomes a mess.
I mean,
Gridlock in Madison.
The Madison Vines has contributed, and we're glad they're successful. And at least my experience going into Exxon, people are exceedingly conscientious that that entrance is there, and they try to leave a little bit of space, and I can wiggle through in a Jeep about anywhere. But it is that intersection's safety. I don't think is not the main paramount problem, but I mean, if it does start backing up, then it will become more and more of an issue, and as volume increases, we all can see. I mean, I'd certainly appreciate some options out there.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
I have one. I'm going to have Kim bring up an email. Ms. Shepherd, I think the division has looked at this. Mr. Cave stepped out of the room, so I was going through an old email. The question becomes, and he's located off Chevy Road, so that's why the concern, he drives this every day. Pull up the email, please, Kim, that picture, if it'll allow you to do that. Basically, at the R-Cut at Shelby, if you are, whether you're headed north or south, let's just say you're headed south and you want to go to the landfill or animal shelter or whatever, usually that traffic pattern should be shifting you to go across. What we are noticing, and I understand that it's viewed as not illegal, folks will be making a U-turn to head back north there, and it's concerns of safety issues. Yeah, go up to the, there's pictures in that email. Keep going. Yeah, there's pictures in there somewhere. Now, go back up to that picture, Brian, as you're coming into town. Greg makes a good point, and I want to ask that about the lack of no U-turn signage right now at Shelby. That's a picture of 29 North, where it allows you to go into the town of Madison. There, you have a similar traffic channeling of you're getting people off the road to go a certain way. So they're making a left, they're leaving 29 to go into the town of Madison. Go back to that intersection, Kim, at 29 Shelby, where you see the gas station. There you go. If you're coming south, going across, should folks be making that U-turn there to go back north? Because you've got folks trying to make a right off of Shelby Road. You have the 29 North traffic, which was the problem from the get-go of trying to avoid collision. So I just wanted to ask VDOT to take a look at that again, just to see if a U-turn should be or not be allowed to be made. And I would say the same going from north to south. Oh, you're back in here. Did I identify that correctly? Okay.
Apologize, I got an emergency call I had to take care of. Yeah, I don't really see much of a difference in the old traffic pattern than what we're experiencing now, because everyone is still shooting across the roadway and they're doing a U-turn. We experience it every day. Pulling out Shelby, spoke to law enforcement. Everyone says they can't enforce it because there's no sign posted. But when you get down to the off-ramp, coming out of Main Street, you see signage there that says no U-turn. So I don't understand why there's no U-turn prohibited right there at South Main Street coming off the off-ramp, but not at Shelby.
We could take a look at it again. I did talk to our traffic engineering department. It is signed as it was designed. But I hear the concerns, and we're looking at some signs that we could possibly put up, but we'll talk about it some more.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right. Anybody else have any VDOT concerns, questions, thoughts? Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
All right. Public hearing, good. Clore Road abandonment. Mr. Weekly, tell us about this 30 feet.
An exciting 30 feet. The request came to us from Mr. and Ms. Gaviria, who live at the end there of Clore Road, kind of where Clore Road and River Road intersect. From the last abandonment, I guess it left a segment of Clore Road. If you may recall, the original segment that was abandoned, it hadn't been used, I think, since the 60s. It was actually overgrown, and it made sense to abandon it and VDOT take it out of the inventory. That left a small portion that really, if you're going back there, the only reason to go back there is if you're a guest at her Airbnb or a resident there. I believe Ms. Garvira and VDOT have worked out where if you choose to approve this 30-foot abandonment, it would push that road back more in line with River Road, and I believe she's agreed to give land for a cul-de-sac turnaround, which is always helpful when you've got dump trucks and other equipment to turn around there. So if you can bring up the visual, please, Kim. I know it's not a lot to show for the Clore Road abandonment. You can see the segment of road. Yeah, a very small segment. So you can see that's not blocking any other neighbor like there on the left. It's not keeping anybody from having access, but it definitely pulls it back off really her property, which I can, be concerned with too if I live at a dead-end road. Why does traffic need to be coming there unless they're patrons? So that's really all I have to add unless there's any questions on the VDOT side of the house. And there's a resolution there as
Do
well.
you have any comments or questions about this very, very
can go to
critical
that resolution.
abandonment?
No, the only thing I had, Mr. Chairman, is, and I want to bring it up now in case we make a motion, that, look, the resolution says it's a resolution, I noticed this today when I was reading everything, resolution of support for abandoning a section of the road. Now, go down to next to the last paragraph, it says, now therefore be it resolved, this board abandons the above described segment. So we're not, this isn't a resolution in support of, this is a resolution to abandon. So I would just like to include, if we so decide, to say a resolution for abandoning a section, and get rid of support, get rid of that title.
Hannon? Very good. That's a good catch.
Just because I read the code, and it's not like we are issuing a letter of support to do something. We are doing it as a board. And in the code, Ms. Shepherd, I don't even see Virginia Department of Transportation in section 33.2-909. VDOT isn't even mentioned in there, which I thought was a little odd, but.
Well, we definitely want to make sure that all these, are done via resolution.
Yeah,
We've
of
had
course.
one recently
Absolutely.
come up that we've worked through. So definitely this
Yeah.
process.
This is the process.
It was filed, Mr. Wright filed it at the courthouse, which is proper. We've advertised, and then there's a resolution prepared. If you so choose to take action, then that resolution is needed by VDOT to take the affirmative action for their inventory.
Right, so, Mr. Chairman, I would put forth a motion that we adopt Resolution 2020.
We gotta go through the whole public hearing.
Oh, that's right.
Normally you're catching me on this. Come on now.
Never mind.
All right, any questions from the board, comments from the board?
Can I just point one thing
Yeah.
out too, just to clarify, Mr. Weekly's, I asked, Madam Clerk over at the courthouse, she posted it, well prior to September's term day, which is what's required by statute.
Very good. Anything else from the board? To the public, and thank you all for sticking around for this very controversial abandonment. Anybody online? Oh, good. Anything? Back to the board. What would you like to do?
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Resolution 2025-21 with the change to the title, removing of support from the title.
I second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Very good. All right, old business. The legislative list for VACO's regional meeting that Mr. Jewett's gonna go to. Mr. Weekly, what do you have for us? Thank you,
Yes,
Ms. Shepherd.
You may recall at the last meeting, VACO had reached out about a regional upcoming meeting. Each year, the board, at your organizational meeting, you assign committees and appointments and so forth. Mr. Jewett is your voting representative to VACO. I am the alternate. So Ms. Turner and I received an email about an upcoming regional meeting. Mr. Jewett has agreed to go. We're thankful for that. But at that meeting, Mr. Chairman, you tasked you and your colleagues and staff with anything that you all would like to direct us to bring back any potential legislative issues you would like, whether Mr. Jewett portrays those issues at that regional meeting. Certainly, we'll have a legislative platform coming up from the Regional Commission as well, probably sometime in October, early November. What I am tracking, I don't have a housing bill number. I know Supervisor Yao, Vice Chairman Yao spoke about a concern of a housing bill. It's my recollection that specific housing bill that did not pass, it was looking at requiring localities to set a target, a 5-year target, that your affordable housing inventory would increase by so many percentage within that 5-year period. That did not pass. I've heard, and if I get supervisor names wrong, forgive me. I believe Supervisor Jewett and maybe some others had concerns. There were the solar and battery storage by right siting bills that would basically say, we're not worried about your local zoning. State will, or SCC will have the right of where these will be signed. Collective bargaining for public employees was in that last year. I'm a public employee. I do not advocate for that. That creates things that really makes your whole county a union, in my opinion. And I do not think that's an advantage for the county as staff or for the taxpayer who pays our salaries. So those were some of the highlights I wanted to mention. However, staff stands by to take down any list of concerns or provide follow-up of the concerns you may have here this evening.
Cardi, what do you have?
So, Jim and Judd, in y'all's research on data centers, is there any push at the General Assembly level to take those rights away from us and shove those down our throats too, or do you not?
I think the biggest thing from the General Assembly right now on data centers is what's it going to do to electrical rates. And I think what you may see in legislation is that they will restrict data centers approval if it will significantly increase utility rates, which is going to do, it's going to happen. So, but I agree. I think that that's going to go along the way with solar eventually and the other things where they'll take control of that away from localities.
So you think solar and data centers should be on our list of things to consider? Yeah.
Anything that takes away our local control is something we need to be on our radar.
Yep.
And who knows what else is somebody's cooking up over the summer and fall, with the election season and whatnot. So those are some of the things at the VACO meeting that we're going to attend that, I'm going to be very interested in report back to you. But I think next year is going to be extremely challenging for VACO.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of push from the General Assembly to, again, remove local control from many things. And I'm concerned about the collective bargaining. I mean, that could significantly increase our spending in the county. And I don't have anything against collective bargaining per se, but I think that allowing a union shop, basically a union shop state, is a mistake. And that's what we would be going down that road. And even if you have an open shop state where they never exist in practice, because what happens is there's so much pressure, and I've seen this over the years with unions, private unions, there's so much pressure in the workplace for you to join the union, whether you want to or not. I mean, you're ostracized, you're coerced, it's just the way it works. And I would rather that we have a relationship with our employees and the school system where we can help, we can improve our compensation levels without becoming an adversarial, inequitable relationship, which is what ultimately unions create, I think, in many instances. And again, it's the dues. I mean, I've talked to some other localities that have allowed unionization, and the dues on folks, I think, is somewhat significant. I'm not really sure that they come out ahead with increased salary and benefits when they're paying possibly a couple $100 a month in dues. So, where does this lead to? I mean, the unions, I mean, I'm like Franklin Roosevelt. I don't believe in public employee unions. I think it's a self-defeating loop. So that's really my biggest concern is what's going to happen with collective bargaining.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I mean,
No,
just,
please.
just in the 2 years I've been here, I can see that we try to keep our employees at the rates of the counties around us and even further away, so we don't lose them. So if they're good employees, whether it's school or county employees, we keep them. And we do raise their salaries, and we do get more benefits. So I think we're doing a good job with that without having unions come in.
Well, there's one other quick thing I got on the affordable housing, and I read it. I don't know where I read it, but on September the 4th, which is 5 days ago, Senator Warner has introduced this. It's called the Yes in God's Backyard Act. That's the name of it. Yes in God's. You all seen any of that? And it has to do with affordable housing, which I think it's separate from the one that I was referencing from last year's General Assembly that got defeated. But anyhow, here's a new one only coming from the federal level, not the state. And this act would basically take away a lot of the requirements and make it easier for religious affiliates, local governments specifically, and educational facilities to get these grants to put in affordable housing. That's basically what it is. And of course, I mean, working for Skyline Cap, I recognize the issue with affordable housing, but once again, don't.
It's not Warner's, but that's what they proposed last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, SB 233, Faith in Housing for the Commonwealth Act. This came out of the General Assembly as opposed to the feds. So, I mean, I understand the issue and the need for it, but I don't like the idea of taking away the decisions that go into it or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Certainly they can't go into the building code and, wipe away that stuff. I wouldn't think, but anyhow.
Well, it all goes back to each locality is unique. And if you look at, here's my concern with those types of bills. First of all, who defines what affordable housing is? That's a concern. And also, as far as I'm concerned, bills like that are some more examples of unfunded mandates. Now, you've got to build so many high-density housing units or whatever. Who's going to pay for the public services? And that's where I think local control comes in, where we can balance that because we know what's going to work best for our locality. And this is one of the things that really gets me about a lot of these affordable housing developments that I've seen in Louisiana and Culpeper and whatnot. The argument is, well, we need to build more affordable housing for residents. Wonderful. Can you guarantee me that our residents are going to be the ones that are in those houses? And the answer is no. You usually bring in populations from the outside. Again, increases the burden on our local services. So this, the affordable housing, I don't know, I'm trying to think of another term to compare it to. But it's a very, very, in many ways, vague definition.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my opinion on it.
Anybody else have anything?
Once the board's done, I have one.
I don't have a specific bill, but I do think we should go down the path and see if we can get something going is on agritourism. Agritourism seems to be a very, very broad type of term that has vaguely been defined and in a lot of ways can circumvent all zoning with very minimal true agricultural components to it. And that we have a case that may go away because it is going to be covered under agritourism. I think everybody in Madison County, myself included, loves agriculture, thinks it's a core part of what makes Madison so great and keeps our quality of life where it is. But just have a blanket definition out there that it can be used so broadly in hopes to give people, to push agriculture on everybody. It seems like that's a really good way to circumvent zoning and allow pretty much everything by right. I do think we need to doing something at the legislative at the state level to define that a little bit better.
I'll pursue that.
And Hannon will talk to you about it as well.
It's just, we'll call it the Pet-a-Goat Bill or something.
Yeah, that's very good. Very good. Please, yes, sir. Jonathan, please.
The one that came to mind when I was talking to Lita Lauk, our wonderful clerk of the circuit court, the other day, the lineup closing and filing documents. I hadn't before I called her, I think the night before, you always see those title fraud commercials. And I talked to her a little bit about it because TV portrays one thing, but it is a serious concern. Ms. Lau made it seem that the association that she's a part of has some recommendations on that. That is a real threat, and I'm careful when I even talk about things sitting here. I think there needs to be a little more of what folks are required. You can do a lot with e-signatures. There is discussion, should wills be done e-signatures? And it just opens the opportunity for fraud. I don't know if it's something as simple as someone comes to file things such as deeds or titles that, like the old days when you had a credit card, can I see that signature in your ID? Something that verifies that folks don't lose out. I encourage you off the record, talk to her about another locality she spoke with that thankfully they were able to rectify a situation before it was recorded. And that county's not too far away from us. So the threat's out there, and I'd like to see whatever Lita or her association can push out for recommendations, bring it back to you, because I think that's definitely in the interest of any of us who are property owners sitting here, as well as the citizens as a whole.
All right, Jim, you got a list. We got Senate Bill 974, you got housing bills, solar siting and battery locations, not being locality, collective bargaining, data centers and electric rates, agritourisms, and title company fraud. Anything else you throw in there, we'd probably be supportive too.
Yeah, I'd like to, and maybe that's something else we should talk to Hannon about as far as policy. What really could be done at the local level policy-wise to help prevent? I don't know.
If you want the other one, just touch that.
Whatever you say.
I have not spent a ton of time thinking about that one. It is true that we've run into this before, is that for the clerks, they're a little bit tied by statute in the sense that they kind of have to take whatever somebody comes and brings them, as long as it's meeting whatever, I'll say, prima facie requirements, as long as those are met, then they got to accept it. So, yeah, there's some things that they have to talk about.
Anybody else have anything? This is real interesting. I don't think we've ever done, we kind of talked about this like this before, and going to regional, maybe we can get a little bit of push there. And hearing what Alan had to say was great. Alan, please, anything? Good. All right, anything else? All right, new business. Brian, tell us about Hoover Ridge change order.
Okay, several months ago, had a conversation with some of the people on the park committee to see if we could do something more than what we're doing out there right now. Phase 1A is basically just moving dirt, putting in some sewer lines, some water lines, things of that nature. So I approached the contractor, Walls Excavating, about hard surfacing and sidewalks, mainly the hockey, pickleball, basketball, and sidewalks for access to those areas. He came back initially, Kim, scroll down on that just a little bit, down to where the price is. Okay, right there. So he came back initially at $605,451. So that started conversations with Parks and Rec because they right now have money in the bank to cover some items. They do have this money covered. They have voted to transfer $605,451.00 to the county to pay for this. As of about 45 minutes ago, there's a twist. We had a conversation with our engineer, and he did not like one thing. Because several things we added in there that ended up being a wash ultimately. But there was a disclaimer in there, and Ken, if you go up a little bit on that, and it has to do with asphalt. They had the asphalt index price in there through VDOT at $597.50 per ton, which means if the price goes up, we pay more. Price goes down, we pay more, pay less, excuse me. What we're looking at now is Walls has presented a locked-in price, which the price of that contract went up to $622,965.60. That's a delta of $17,515.60. The reason for that is the risk incurred by him. If we go for the larger side of this, he's incurring the risk, we pay more for that. We stay on the other 605 where they're referencing the $597.50 per ton, And we are assuming the risk if this goes up. Now, the disclaimer here is that price is not moved all year long, according to Walls. I talked to him this afternoon about this. The other twist on this is PRA has agreed to transfer 605-451, not 622-965-60. So we have a decision to make here. I talked to Mr. Carpenter briefly this afternoon about this. We've got two options here. We can wait to them to do that and wait till this board convenes again to go forward with this, or we can trust that PRA will transfer the balance of that 17,000 to make this go. Happy to answer any questions here.
I would just add one thing in there. You could potentially do a third, and it may sound a little complicated. If you approve the original amount, to the point if it goes down, you stay within that, they can always come back and do a supplemental. PRA can take that vote to add that additional monies. The only thing I would mention, and it's really on your timetable, asphalt plants close down as the weather gets colder. What that'll mean is a 2-week time frame if you want to wait till PRA meets, I think, tomorrow, and you all bring it back on the 23rd, that's fine. But I think at a safety net, either you can approve it to 6/22 with the caveat pending PRA's approval at that meeting tomorrow, or if you want to stay at the 605 or
605-450 was the original amount.
Wait a minute, I'm not under, it seems to be conflicting sentences here. It says, this quote is based on a liquid asphalt price not to exceed $597.50 a ton.
Correct.
So you think $597.50 is what he calculated in this amount?
That was the current rate on the VDOT index when he produced the change order.
Right, so he says not to exceed that. But then he turns around and says due to the volatility of the liquid asphalt, the price will be based on the inflation. So which is it, not to exceed, or which sentence takes precedent? I've looked at this thing for 10 days now, and it just now hit me. It's like, oh, I mean.
Which one's Hannah?
See what I'm saying? This quote, the second bullet there, this quote is based on a liquid asphalt price not to exceed $597.50. Okay, I got that. But due to the volatility in the liquid asphalt market, the price will be based on inflation of liquid asphalt per VDOT.
I think what he's saying there, say we decide to pave this thing 6 months, if the price is higher than the $597.50, the inflation that occurred in the VDOT index would supersede the $597.50. So the price that he's given the original, the 605, is based on that number. If it goes up, obviously the contract goes up, is what he's saying. Taking that verbiage out is what he did with the second contract. That's why the second change order. That's why it went to 622.
Okay, so I'm reading it different. I see what he is saying now.
He's trying to cover himself.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, most of the time when I put something in a contract, I say it's not to exceed, it's not going to exceed that.
Right.
He's just saying.
If it does, we're going up.
If it does exceed that,
Right.
I see. But yeah, PRA has the 17 grand, right, Jared? As far as I know.
After this change order, they had right at 124,000 residual.
PRA moving the additional 17 is not the issue in any way. It's more a question of whether the risk that we would like to take as the board of supervisors, I do think it's us, it's associated with this. We are the government, so chances are the prices will change drastically. We don't think.
Do we run into any contracting issues? Because we're approving this without it going out to bid?
It's a very good question, Mr. Buchanan, and we have had extensive conversation with legal as well as Ms. Warren, talked to our auditor, who's going to own the project, who is the contract with, and that's the reason the funding approvals has gone the way it has. The original contract, which is the dirt work they're doing now, is the contract between the contractor and the county. PRA taking a vote, as well as Support Hoover Ridge, that should be noted. They voted to transfer certain funds to PRA, and then that total from PRA to us. So PRA would just make that transfer to us. So that's what the auditor and legal and staff recommends, since the existing contract, which is what this change order is to, is between the county and the contractor.
And because the amount of the change is more than 25% of the contract amount, that's why it's coming back before the board for the second vote.
What conversations have you had with Walls in his anticipation of price changing on it? I mean, I just searched it, and it looks like there's two different schedules for asphalt, one at the rate that is specified, and then a heavier rate that's in the 700s for September. Does he think it's going to change or not?
He said it's not changed all year. He said barring something catastrophic happening globally to drive petroleum prices, we don't have a crystal ball. There's no way we can shadow that. We can pay the extra $17,000 and know where we're at. You know, if everything stays static, yeah, that's $17,000 probably didn't have to pay.
And what month do you anticipate him putting down asphalt?
We presented a substantial completion date of December 15th, and he believes that's doable as long as the weather cooperates.
Huh. Yeah, yeah, maybe the 7 day, exactly.
So, you know, it's what you feel comfortable with. You can take a vote, and I'll have Hannon check me on this, but you can also do it pending you approve change order scope of work as described, and the amount of the new amount we learned is $622,965.60, pending PRA's approval of the funds. And then once we have those funds, part of that motion, you'll be authorizing staff to sign the change order.
Jerry, you have any comments?
Well, we gotta have official, your board's gotta take an action.
Oh, that's right.
I think the. I agree. Well, I agree. I think we've got the opportunity, once we start putting some of this in the ground, then I think that'll open up other opportunities almost immediately for progress and development of this site. The question is, do y'all want to go with the 605 or do you want to go with the 622, 965? Yes. I'm on.
You just change
I'm almost
order
like
for
the
622.
Let's do the 605 and go at it.
I think you're covered.
I
You don't
agree.
need to get into the communication. Yeah.
What do you think, Jim? Your comments down here, you wanna do 605, you wanna do 622?
And if I may give you one more piece of information,
Yeah.
this is not suggesting use it, and I don't commit funds anyway, it's a board responsibility. Change order 1 to the existing project was a positive for the county. So it went from a 767. We asked you to approve that number so we were safe with a contingency amount, but there was like a $40,000 credit by losing the soil on site versus having to haul it away. So the preference would be PRA come up with that money, but if the question is where's the 17 going to come from, you have a credit to sitting there as well for that project.
Talking about hopefully a $4.2, $4.3 million project here. It's nice that we could lose that dirt on site, which 40K savings is massive. The risk or insuring ourselves at 17K certainly is it's less risky move in every direction. I'm more inclined to gamble on this and stick with the 605 if that price has stayed where it's at the whole time. But, I mean, that's just kind of a question.
Yeah.
What do y'all think? You want to do 605?
He wouldn't have put the 17 in there if he didn't feel like it was safe.
I agree.
To what?
Agree.
He would not have put the 17 in there if he didn't feel like that was a safe number.
That's right.
I'm inclined to go with 605.
We do have supplemental appropriation number 8, which cites the 605, 451. What would y'all like to do?
Let's see, yeah, Mr. Chairman, Make a motion that we approve the supplemental appropriation number 8 for 605,451.
I second.
Motion's made and seconded. Further information? We'll see how this goes. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No, Brian, I was just talking about, I mean, so we had I can't talk this evening, forgive me. We had what was put in the packet. We knew it was gonna be refined, because there was some conversation about conduit or whatever. We had one come in at 12, which reflects that. Then we had one come in later than that, which is why Brian exited the room to call the contractor, was the 622 or whatever it was, a higher amount. Really, the only difference between this amount, Jerry, was that asphalt as described by Brian, where he's basically covering himself. So that won't delay. If you run into costs that get ready to exceed that, we're gonna come let you know. You guys are gonna have to take a vote to approve additional money. We'll bring a supplemental to the board for that amount. Am I correct, Ms. Warren, in that process? So it won't delay. The board's action here tonight, if they approve, then.
Everybody good? Thanks. No, this is real big and great. This is good for everybody. All right, anybody else have anything on that? Discussion. Do we have anything we need to discuss? You have discussion items?
No,
Nothing?
sir.
No, that's unfortunate. Information and correspondence?
Raise your hand.
Oh, good.
I had contacted Mr. Weekly earlier about Firefly's broadband deployment. I know down our way, they seem to have disappeared. And I'm getting complaints from neighbors. Where's my broadband?
Kim, did Galen respond to that? We put an inquiry into Firefly. Let's see if she's got a response.
I can check my email, but when we started the meeting, I hadn't had a response yet. I can say that on their website, one thing I've learned this week is that they now have the VADI 2024 on the map, so that's been updated. For your specific area, it does say it's connecting now, so some of my question for him was that specific area, where exactly is the time frame for that area?
I do know, like, even at my home, I'm further down the street than you, they've got it rolled up on the pole out the edge of the road, but I haven't been given any notice. In my understanding, for those who have the service, I'm not upset at y'all. They put a note on your door so you can schedule that drop service to home.
I assume you're telling everybody and their brother that they need to register on the website, so that they will be contacted. I got it about 3 months ago now. It did seem like there was a lag from the coil up and then them out there on the table in a tent or in a trailer or whatever way they're doing it. There was about a month and a half to 2 months kind of window where everything looked to me like it was ready, but they just hadn't connected. Getting in touch with them was fairly easy at the end of the whole thing. So hopefully it's coming on along. You got anything else on that? I'm sure you.
I was just gonna say the same thing. There was a significant time frame between the time they rolled it up on the pole and the time they brought it in your home.
Like down at Putz's, they've got all that stuff, and I've signed up down there, and I haven't heard anything from them on that side, but it is very good. What?
So close, but yet so far. It's right there in my driveway. So they're hanging up there for like 6 or 8 months now.
So as soon as we have that answer, we'll push that out to you. I do know that the last, I think it was the July, I don't think I got August data yet. They were over 800 connections.
If we hear anything, you'll push it out, of course, I'm sure. Anything else on that one?
No, thank you all, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Public comment. Yes, yes. Yes.
So with the construction down in Hoover Ridge for the Outdoor Recreation Center, if you drive by, you see it, but you really need to come down and look at it. And I invite everyone here, anybody who wants to come look at it, we have the plans, we can show you where everything's going to be at. It really is exciting time for us and for the county and the citizens of Madison County. Anybody just come to the office and we can show you around down there. That's all I
public comment? Other public comment? All right, no more public comment, no closed session. What would you like to do?
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Thank y'all.
This conference is no longer being recorded.